In a world of incredibly muscular people wearing skin-tight clothing, the horniest person of all is the one trying to destroy the world as we know it. I am, of course, referring to Steppenwolf, the villain of the upcoming Justice League movie. And I am, of course, also referring to the massive horns that protrude from his giant, evil head. Why? What did you think I meant? Regardless, the Justice League are gonna have their hands full this fall when the Herald of Apocalypse comes a-knockin'. And so will audiences in theaters, mainly because no one has really heard of Steppenwolf before. Is he a member of the hair metal band? Is he a sentient copy of the Hermann Hesse novel? Well, no and no. But today in the Dan Cave, I'm gonna tell you everything you do need to know about Steppenwolf before you see Justice League. Now, like most great things in comics, Steppenwolf was created by Jack Kirby. First appearing in 1972's New Gods #7, Steppenwolf is one of the deadliest villains in the DC Universe, and he's fought the Justice League on numerous occasions. Created as part of Jack Kirby's New Gods, the Steppenwolf of the comics was originally depicted very differently from that CG monster man you saw in that Batman v Superman deleted scene. He originally looked like a sci-fi version of the Jolly Green Giant, but instead of delicious frozen peas, he trafficked in murder. But times and outfits change, and as part of his New 52 revamp, he evolved into more of an imposing goateed man-mountain wearing armor and a horned helmet that'd be right at home in some sort of apocryphal Diablo DLC. One of these self-proclaimed new gods, Steppenwolf lived in a realm called the Fourth World on a nightmarish planet called Apocalypse, which exists outside of space and time as we perceive it. It's only accessible by BoomTube, which is not a nickname for a donger, but it's DC Comics' version of the Flu Network. I'm so sorry. Apocalypse is a planet only accessible by BoomTube, and its denizens are locked in a constant eternal struggle with the planet of New Genesis, where everything's rainbows and sunshines and frozen yogurt. It's like an eternal battle between light and dark. You know, yogurt versus slavery. You get it. The beings in the Fourth World possess incredible heightened abilities like superhuman strength, speed, stamina, and nigh immortality thanks to the power of the Source, the aptly named limitless supply of energy that powers all of creation in the DC universe. But because just being strong as hell wasn't enough, Jack Kirby also gave Steppenwolf an electro axe, which is like a normal axe, but electric? I know. I wish it was a guitar too, but we can't always get what we want, now can we, Jess? Now, much like the Marvel Universe has Thanos, the DC Universe has its own power-hungry tyrant who remains a constant threat to all of existence, Darkseid. And Steppenwolf is one of Darkseid's most trusted generals, leading the armies of Apocalypse in assaults on Earth and all around the known universe. A member of Darkseid's elite, Steppenwolf is actually Darkseid's uncle. In his very first comic appearance, Steppenwolf proved his worth to his nephew by murdering the wife of one of Darkseid's most hated rivals. Except said rival, Highfather, wasn't about to take this lying down. Instead, Highfather found where Steppenwolf was hiding and murdered him in retaliation, plunging the worlds of Apocalypse and New Genesis into war. And little did Steppenwolf know, but he was actually just a pawn in Darkseid's deadly game to poison his mom and claim the throne of Apocalypse for himself without old Wolfie Boy objecting. Fortunately for Steppenwolf, he was later resurrected. Because comics. Unfortunately for Steppenwolf, his life is one long, always the bridesmaid, never the bride situation. Case in point, at one point, this dude was straight up murdered by the Clock King of all people over being a stick in the mud about metahuman gladiatorial fights. You know, that old chestnut, that old you're supposed to be one of the most fearsome foes in the universe, but William frickin' Talkman can murk you, chestnut? What is happening? On the flip side, Steppenwolf is a master tactician, and he does lead an army including a special unit called the Dog Cavalry, which are massive demon dogs that sniff out the enemies of Darkseid, then presumably turn them into the sentient equivalent of Kibbles and Bits, but mostly Bits because they're giant demon dogs. Did you miss the part where they're huge f***ing demon dogs? During an invasion of Earth 2, Steppenwolf pretty much single-handedly defeated the World Army, cutting through them like a hot knife through an entire butter factory. Steppenwolf and his forces, comprised of Darkseid's parademons, remember them from Batman v Superman, even managed to kill that world's Wonder Woman and Superman during their final assault. But he was ultimately routed when that world's Batman sacrificed himself to send all the parademons back through the boom tubes they rode in on, which again, sounds way dirtier than it really is. Suddenly finding himself very vulnerable and very alone, Steppenwolf did what any one of us would do. He used his remaining troops to commit regicide and seize control of the country of Durain. Unfortunately for Steppenwolf, though, I know I'm saying this a lot, but this guy had shitty luck. Unfortunately for Steppenwolf, he was given impromptu LASIK and rent asunder by Earth 2's Bizarro, who was secretly working for Darkseid and pretending to be a dude named Brutal for some reason. But the important thing is that for a while, for a brief flickering moment, Steppenwolf did a pretty good job. I mean, can we fault him for getting caught up in office politics? No. No, we cannot. Most recently, Steppenwolf was seen fighting alongside his nephew Darkseid in the Darkseid War storyline, which pit the big bad blue dude against the Anti-Monitor, a powerful cosmic being who basically solved the world's worst math problem. But that is a story for another episode. And at the end of the day, despite the fact that he's often sent running with his tail between his legs, or turned into a fine red mist, or gets dunked on by Earth 2's Bizarro of all people, Steppenwolf is a badass military leader with awesome strength who'll prove more than capable of a match for the Justice League in their first cinematic outing. Plus, with multiple mother boxes all over the Earth, it looks like he's going to be playing the role of Advance Guard in the Apocalyptic invasion, laying the groundwork for Darkseid to lay siege to our pale blue dot and claim our planet's supply of Dr. Pepper for himself in Justice League 2. And spoiler alert, it's all in the Red Room, like here and here and here. Why is there so much soda? Your son is dying. And that, my friends, is the Justice League villain Steppenwolf in a nutshell. But tell me, what do you think of him? Is he a fearsome enough foe for the Justice League? Let me know in the comments below and give me an apocalyptic thumbs up while you're there. Now be sure to like and subscribe or else you might miss next week's show about the story of a dark vigilante waging a one-man war on crime who must partner with a tiny Owen Wilson to find a powerful Egyptian artifact in the dark night at the museum. Until next time, keep on digging. Let's open up the old mailbag, shall we? At Nitty2Shoes asks, if you could be a pumpkin, a spice, or a latte, which would you be and why? Now, honestly, this is something I've thought about a lot, and I'd probably have to go with a pumpkin, because then there's a statistical chance I could be the Great Pumpkin, which would give me like a cool host of mythical gourd powers. Because like, if I'm a spice, then I'm just like space currency for Dune Barons. If I'm a latte, then I'm part of the basic bitch starter kit, so definitely a pumpkin. But tell me, what would you want to be? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.